In a distant galaxy, the Galactic Empire ruled with an iron fist. They had conquered many planets, and their power seemed unstoppable. But in a small corner of the universe, Earth was thriving. The humans lived their lives unaware of the dark shadow looming over them. The Empire considered Earth nothing more than a primitive planet, filled with weak beings. They thought that conquering it would be easy. One day, a meeting took place in the Grand Hall of the Empire. The leaders gathered, their faces stern and serious. A high-ranking officer stood up and said, "We have received reports about Earth. They are weak, and their technology is far behind ours. It is time to conquer them and add their resources to our empire." The room buzzed with excitement. Many agreed, thinking it would be an easy victory. Meanwhile, on Earth, a group of brilliant scientists was working on a project deep underground. They had found ancient texts about a long-lost technology. It was said that this technology could move stars. The team was led by Dr. Sarah Mitchell, a determined woman who had spent her life studying the secrets of the universe. She gathered her team in a small lab filled with computers and glowing screens. "Listen up, everyone," Sarah said, her voice full of passion. "If the Empire comes to invade us, we need to show them that we are not to be underestimated. This technology can help us protect our planet. We can shift their star and make them think twice." The team looked at each other, excitement mixing with fear. They worked day and night, pouring their hearts into the project. After weeks of effort, they finally managed to activate the ancient device. It hummed to life, filling the lab with a bright blue light. Everyone gasped in amazement. "We did it!" shouted Tom, one of the engineers. "We can actually move a star!" The team erupted into cheers, but Sarah knew that this was just the beginning. They had to use this power wisely. As news spread about the Empire's plans to invade, the team decided to take action. They would not wait for the Empire to come to them. Instead, they planned to send a message to the Galactic Empire. It was a bold move, but they knew they had to make their threat known. The scientists gathered in front of a camera, ready to send their message to the Empire. Sarah took a deep breath and spoke clearly. "To the Galactic Empire, we are not as weak as you think. We have discovered technology that can shift stars. If you come to invade us, we will move your star and endanger your worlds. Leave Earth or face the consequences." As they sent the message, Sarah felt a mix of hope and fear. Would the Empire take them seriously? Back in the Empire's Grand Hall, the leaders watched the transmission with disbelief. They laughed at the humans, thinking it was a joke. "They think they can threaten us? How foolish," one of them scoffed. But as the leaders continued to watch, they began to feel uneasy. What if the humans really could do it? They decided to send a reconnaissance ship to Earth to gather more information. They wanted to confirm their assumptions about the planet and its people. As the ship left the Empire's docking bay, a sense of dread hung in the air. The Empire had underestimated humanity, believing that their technology was inferior and their spirit weak. However, they were unaware of the determination brewing among the humans. Back on Earth, the news spread quickly. People from different countries came together, united by the threat from the Empire. They realized that they could not let fear control them. They began to prepare for the worst, training and organizing themselves to defend their home. Sarah and her team continued to refine their technology, knowing that time was running out. They understood that they needed to act quickly. The Empire was on its way, and they had to be ready to face the challenge head-on. In this moment of uncertainty, the humans felt a surge of hope. They had discovered a power that could change their fate. As they looked at the starry sky, they knew they would not back down. They were ready to show the Galactic Empire that humans were more than just a primitive species. They were fierce, united, and ready to fight for their planet. The battle for Earth was about to begin. The Galactic Empire had laughed at humanity's threat. They thought the humans were foolish to believe they could move stars. But as the Empire prepared to invade, the people of Earth were determined to show their strength. In a hidden laboratory, Dr. Sarah Mitchell and her team were hard at work, ready to prove that their threat was real. Days passed, and the tension grew. Sarah stood before her team, her eyes shining with determination. "We need to show the Empire that we are not weak. We have to demonstrate our power. Let's move a small asteroid to prove what we can do." Her words ignited a fire within the team, and they quickly got to work. The scientists found a small asteroid floating nearby in space. It was the perfect target to test their technology. The team connected their ancient device to a powerful satellite that could focus the energy needed to shift the asteroid. The lab buzzed with excitement as they prepared for the demonstration. "Ready?" Sarah asked, glancing at her team. They nodded, their faces filled with determination. Sarah pressed a button and the machine roared to life. Bright lights flashed, and the air hummed with energy. The device focused on the asteroid, sending waves of power toward it. As they worked, a small crowd gathered outside the lab. News of the demonstration had spread, and people wanted to see what the scientists were doing. Families, children, and reporters filled the area, all eager to witness this momentous event. The tension was palpable as everyone held their breath. Suddenly, the asteroid began to move. It shifted slowly at first, but then, with a surge of energy, it shot forward, altering its path. Cheers erupted from the crowd as they watched the incredible sight. People hugged each other, filled with hope and excitement. Back in the Galactic Empire, the leaders watched the broadcast in disbelief. They saw the asteroid moving and realized that the humans had indeed done what they claimed. Panic spread among the Empire's leaders as they whispered to one another. "This changes everything," one of them said. "They really can shift stars. We cannot underestimate them." As the humans celebrated their successful demonstration, Sarah knew this was just the beginning. They had to keep the momentum going. She gathered her team and said, "We need to send a message to the Empire again. They need to know we are serious. We won't back down!" The team quickly prepared another transmission. Sarah stood in front of the camera once more, her voice steady. "To the Galactic Empire, this is not a game. We have shown you our power by moving an asteroid. We have the ability to shift your stars and threaten your worlds. If you still think we are weak, think again. We are ready to fight for our planet." The message was sent, and the humans felt a sense of unity. They were not just fighting for themselves, they were fighting for their families, their friends, and their future. As they gathered in groups to discuss their next steps, the excitement in the air was palpable. Across the galaxy, the Empire was in chaos. Their confidence was shaken. They had never faced a challenge like this before. In their war rooms, officers debated what to do next. Some suggested launching an immediate attack, while others warned against underestimating the humans again. Meanwhile, the people of Earth prepared for the worst. They gathered resources, formed alliances, and trained together. Different countries worked side by side, sharing their knowledge and skills. Everyone felt the urgency of the situation. They knew that if the Empire attacked, they would need to stand together. Days turned into weeks, and the tension between the Empire and Earth grew. The Empire's fleet was getting closer, but the humans were ready. They had shown their power and proved they were not to be underestimated. As the Empire's ships approached Earth, a sense of determination filled the air. Humans from every corner of the planet stood united, ready to defend their home. They had come together, stronger than ever, knowing that their fight was not just for survival, but for their freedom. The Empire may have thought they were invincible, but the humans were prepared to show them otherwise. The stage was set for an epic confrontation, and Earth was ready to fight back. As the Galactic Empire's massive fleet approached Earth, the mood on the planet was a mix of fear and determination. News of the Empire's imminent attack spread like wildfire, igniting a sense of urgency among the people. They knew they had to stand together, united against a common threat. In a small command center filled with screens and maps, Dr. Sarah Mitchell and her team were working tirelessly. The scientists had gathered crucial information about the Empire's fleet, and they were determined to use it to their advantage. Sarah looked at her team and said, "This is our moment. We need to show the Empire that we are ready to fight. We cannot let them take our planet." As the countdown to the Empire's arrival ticked away, people from all over the world began to rally together. Citizens formed defense groups, and volunteers stepped up to help prepare for the battle ahead. Farmers, teachers, engineers, and soldiers all joined forces, eager to defend their homes. In one part of the world, a group of pilots gathered at an airbase. They were young, but their hearts were filled with bravery. A seasoned veteran named Captain Ryan stood before them. "Listen up, everyone! The Empire thinks we are weak. They are about to learn just how strong we can be. We have a plan, and we need to work together as one. We will show them that we are not afraid to fight." The pilots nodded, their spirits lifted by Captain Ryan's words. They knew that their training and teamwork would be vital in the upcoming battle. As they climbed into their fighter jets, they felt a surge of confidence. They were not just fighting for themselves, they were fighting for all of humanity. Meanwhile, back in the command center, Sarah and her team were finalizing their strategy. They had developed a plan to utilize their star-shifting technology in a way that would give the humans a fighting chance. "We can use the device to create a diversion," Sarah explained. "If we can shift a small star near the Empire's fleet, it will cause chaos and give us the opportunity to strike." The team worked quickly, preparing for the plan's execution. They synchronized their efforts with the pilots, ensuring everyone knew their roles. The atmosphere was tense but charged with hope. As the Empire's ships entered Earth's atmosphere, alarms blared across the command center. "They're here!" shouted one of the scientists. Everyone sprang into action. Sarah quickly issued commands, and the pilots took to the skies, ready to defend their planet. The battle began with a loud roar as the Empire unleashed their firepower. The skies lit up with explosions and bright flashes. Human pilots soared through the chaos, dodging enemy fire and striking back with precision. Captain Ryan led the charge, rallying his team as they worked together to fend off the Empire's attacks. Back in the command center, Sarah monitored the situation closely. "Now's our chance," she yelled. "Activate the star-shifting device." The team activated the machine, and energy surged through it. The bright light illuminated the room, casting shadows on the walls. With a steady hand, Sarah directed the energy toward the small star they had chosen. As the machine hummed and vibrated, the star began to shift, altering its position in space. The human pilots, noticing the bright light in the distance, understood what Sarah was doing. "It's time!" Captain Ryan called out, rallying his team for one last push. As the star moved, the Empire's ships were thrown into disarray. Confusion spread among the enemy ranks as they struggled to understand what was happening. The bright light from the shifting star distracted them, creating an opening for the human pilots. Seizing the moment, the human fighters swooped in, launching a fierce attack. They worked in perfect harmony, covering each other and outmaneuvering the enemy ships. The pilots felt a rush of adrenaline as they fought side by side, united by their determination to protect Earth. Back on the ground, crowds watched the battle unfold, their hearts filled with hope. They cheered for the pilots and scientists, believing in the strength of their unity. As the battle raged on, the humans proved that they were more than just a weak species. They were fierce, brave, and ready to defend their home. The Galactic Empire had underestimated them, and now they would learn the true power of humanity standing together. With each passing moment, the humans fought not just for survival, but for their future. The Empire was beginning to realize that this battle would not be as easy as they had thought. The humans were rising to the challenge, united and unstoppable in their fight for freedom. The battle for Earth was in full swing. Explosions lit up the sky as human pilots fought bravely against the mighty fleet of the Galactic Empire. The atmosphere crackled with tension and hope as people from all walks of life watched the fight unfold. They knew this was a turning point in history, a fight for their home. In the command center, Dr. Sarah Mitchell stood with her team, monitoring the chaos on the screens. They saw their pilots working together, maneuvering through enemy fire, and launching successful strikes against the Empire's ships. "We're holding our ground!" Sarah shouted, her heart racing with excitement and fear. "But we can't let up. We need to keep pushing forward!" As the pilots continued their aerial assault, Captain Ryan was leading the charge in the sky. His fighter jet darted between enemy ships, firing missiles with precision. "Stay together," he yelled to his squadron. "We need to outsmart them. Use their numbers against them!" The human fighters executed complex maneuvers, drawing the larger Empire ships into tight formations. One by one, they picked off their enemies, each explosion a victory for humanity. The crowd below cheered louder with every successful strike, their spirits lifting with each moment of triumph. Meanwhile, Sarah had an idea. "We need to create a bigger distraction," she said, pointing at the control panel. "If we can shift another star closer to the battlefield, it could create a shockwave. That will throw the Empire off balance." Her team quickly agreed, understanding the importance of this next move. They rushed to prepare the star-shifting device for another operation. Sarah's heart raced as she calculated the energy needed. "We have to do this quickly," she urged. "Every second counts." Back in the sky, the battle raged on. The Empire was realizing they underestimated the humans. Their ships, once confident and imposing, were starting to show signs of distress. Captain Ryan noticed this shift and knew they had to keep the pressure on. "Keep attacking! We can't let them regroup! But just as victory seemed within reach, a massive Empire flagship emerged from the shadows. It was larger and more heavily armed than anything the humans had encountered. The flagship's guns began to fire and chaos erupted in the skies. Ryan and his pilots struggled to evade the overwhelming firepower. "Everyone scatter," he ordered. "Regroup at the east flank! We need to take that flagship down!" The pilots maneuvered away from the direct fire, their hearts pounding. They knew they had to work together to defeat this giant. In the command center, Sarah watched in horror as the flagship entered the fray. "We have to act now!" she shouted. The team worked furiously, directing energy toward the star-shifting device. It hummed and vibrated as they focused their efforts. With a deep breath, Sarah pressed the button to activate the device. A brilliant light burst forth, illuminating the command center. The nearby star began to shift, creating a massive shockwave that rippled through space. The shockwave hit the Empire's fleet, causing ships to shake and some to collide with each other. "Now, pilots, attack the flagship!" Ryan shouted, seeing the opportunity. The human fighters dove toward the flagship, unleashing a barrage of missiles. The Empire's flagship struggled to defend itself, its crew scrambling to regain control. With every missile that struck, the humans felt a surge of hope. They were proving their strength against an overwhelming force. The flagship began to falter, and cheers erupted from the ground. People held hands, united in their belief that they could win. As the flagship took damage, its defenses weakened. Ryan and his squadron pressed on, determined to bring it down. "One last push," he urged his team. They coordinated their final assault, firing everything they had left. The flagship erupted in a blinding explosion, and the skies lit up with a dazzling display of colors. The impact sent shockwaves through the battlefield, and the Empire's fleet began to retreat, panicking at the loss of their flagship. Back in the command center, Sarah and her team erupted in cheers. They had done it. The humans had fought bravely, standing together against a seemingly invincible enemy. As the Empire's ships began to withdraw, the people of Earth knew that they had turned the tide of battle. The fight for Earth was far from over, but the humans had proven they were a force to be reckoned with. Their unity, strength, and determination shone brightly in the face of adversity. They were ready for whatever came next, fighting for their planet and for each other. The skies above Earth were calm again, but the echoes of battle still lingered in the air. The Galactic Empire had retreated, their once mighty fleet scattered and broken. On the ground, people celebrated their hard-fought victory, their hearts filled with hope for the future. They had stood together against a powerful enemy and emerged victorious, proving that humanity was not to be underestimated. In the command center, Dr. Sarah Mitchell and her team were exhausted but exhilarated. They had worked tirelessly during the battle, and now the weight of their efforts lifted as they celebrated their success. "We did it!" Sarah exclaimed, a wide smile spreading across her face. "We showed them that Earth will not back down." The team cheered, high-fiving each other and sharing stories about the fierce dogfights in the sky. Captain Ryan and his pilots returned to the airbase, greeted with cheers and applause from crowds of supporters. People of all ages held banners and flags, celebrating their heroes. Ryan stepped out of his fighter jet, overwhelmed by the love and admiration. "Today we proved that when we stand together we are strong," he told the crowd, raising his fist in the air. "This is just the beginning. We will protect our home no matter what it takes." As the celebrations continued, news of the battle spread across the galaxy. Other worlds watched in awe as humanity's defiance against the Empire became a symbol of hope. Many races began to reconsider their views on humans, realizing they were not the weak species they once thought. Back in the command center, Sarah and her team began discussing what came next. "We can't let our guard down," she said, seriousness returning to her voice. "The Empire will likely regroup and come back for another attempt. We need to be ready." The scientists began working on ways to strengthen their defenses, building new technologies and strategies to prepare for the Empire's next move. They were not just defending Earth, they were also ready to show the galaxy that humanity was capable of greatness. Meanwhile, diplomatic channels opened up. Messages flew across the stars, reaching out to other civilizations. Sarah and her team drafted a message, inviting all beings to come together and form alliances. "We want to share knowledge and technology. We will stand together against any threat," the message proclaimed. Some races responded eagerly, wanting to unite with the humans. Others were skeptical, unsure of humanity's intentions. But as the stories of Earth's bravery spread, more worlds began to recognize the potential for partnership and collaboration. On Earth, people began to rebuild. The cities that had seen destruction started to rise again, stronger than before. Farmers returned to their fields and families reunited, cherishing the peace that had been hard-won. Schools reopened, teaching children not only about science and math, but also about courage, teamwork, and the importance of standing together. As the weeks turned into months, the Earth transformed. Technology advanced, fueled by the urgency of preparing for future battles. Humans were no longer just a small planet. They were becoming a key player in the galaxy. In the heart of the command center, Sarah looked at the new plans for Earth's defenses and smiled. "This is our chance to make a difference," she said to her team. "We can be leaders, not just for ourselves but for other worlds. We will stand as a united front against the Galactic Empire and any future threats." One day, a massive ship appeared in the sky. People looked up, their hearts pounding. This time, it was not an enemy ship. It was a coalition of allies from different planets, coming to show their support for Earth. The ship landed and representatives stepped out, eager to meet the heroes of the recent battle. The new alliance began discussions on how to strengthen their bond, share resources, and protect one another. Humanity was no longer alone. They had forged connections with other races who valued peace and unity. In the days that followed, Earth prepared for a new beginning. They trained, learned, and built relationships with their newfound allies. The fight was far from over, but the humans had proven they could stand tall against even the most daunting challenges. As Sarah looked out over the bustling city, filled with people of all kinds, celebrating their shared victory, she felt a sense of hope. Humanity had faced darkness and emerged stronger. They were ready to protect their world and help others in the galaxy. Together, they would create a brighter future for everyone, standing united against any threat. This was just the beginning of a new era for humanity.